My wife overheard me tell my brother-in-law, "Thank God our daughter is looking more like her mom because my masculine features on a teenage girl would make her life suck, so now I'm sleeping on the couch for apparently calling our kid ugly." Posted by you/IdiotDadTA. The title sounds bad, but hear me out. My 37M wife, 38F, and I have a 9-year-old daughter, and my wife is also 7 months pregnant with our son. When our daughter was younger, she looked a lot like me, but as she aged, she started to look more and more like her mom. Please note that I have very, very manly features. I was having a beer with my brother-in-law in my backyard while our daughters played inside the house. We were getting a bit tipsy. It's fine since his wife can drive. We got to talking about kids and how I wanted my son to take after me. He brought up the fact that our daughter started out like my clone, and I said yeah, thank God she's slowly starting to look more and more like her mom. Can you imagine this? I point at my face, on a teenage girl? Her life would suck. Well, my wife was within earshot because she was bringing us food. She dumped it in front of us and called me a jerk for saying our daughter is ugly. She walked back to the house crying, and when I chased after her, she told me to stay away. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law left shortly after, and I did all the cleanup myself and put my daughter to bed. I wasn't super drunk, just a bit tipsy. When I went to sleep, my wife was still awake, and she pretty much exiled me to the couch because apparently I think our daughter is ugly. I tried to apologize for that, but she wasn't having it. She's pregnant, so I didn't want to stress her out. I spent an uncomfortable night on the couch, and now my back hurts like heck. My wife and daughter are still asleep as I'm typing this. I don't think I did anything wrong, but am I the jerk? Is this her hormones, or am I really callous for saying something like that? Edit, just to clarify, no food was wasted. By dumping it in front of us, I meant she angrily put it on the table and stormed off. She's not a monster. Relevant comments. Ops response to a deleted commenter. I actually like how I look, which is why I would love for my son to look like me. It's just that my features aren't really ideal for a girl. Thanks for your insight though. I'll keep that in mind. Commenter, nah, but you really shouldn't comment on your daughter's attractiveness for the next 10 years or so. You think your pregnant wife is hormonal and getting overly emotional. How do you think your daughter is going to be in 3 or 4 years? At 9, it's probably not a big deal, but at 12, if she overheard you, she could fixate on it for a long time. Just keep that in mind for the future. And you're not the jerk, but apologize to your wife. She's hormonal and overreacting, but this is not the hill you want to die on. Ops response, downvoted, oh yeah, I'm more than willing to swallow my pride in this scenario. Being wrong but being able to sleep on a bed and have intimacy with my wife is so much better than being right and sleeping on the couch. Commenter 1, drunk husband plus pregnant wife equals misunderstandings. Commenter 2, agreed, nah. Commenter 3, yes and no. It is clear that you didn't intend to insult your daughter. However, it's easy to say things when intoxicated, even tipsy, that sound alright in your head but come out not quite right. I recommend waiting until she cools off and apologizing to your wife. Making it clear you love your daughter and were making a bad attempt at humor. Maybe take your daughter and her out to ice cream if they enjoy that. Just be kind and make an effort not to say things that are insensitive. It's a good habit to have in life anyway. 1 out of 5 on the jerk scale. Commenter 4, forget that. I count my blessings every time someone says my children look like my wife. Commenter 5, NTA. When your wife calms down, explain the context, like you did on here. I don't even think you really called your daughter ugly, just made a joke about her growing up looking like you. Commenter 6, I don't think she's a jerk either, just hormonal and misunderstood. Commenter 7, Uda. Don't say stuff like that. Just don't do it. I know people who overheard their parents talking about their weight/appearance as kids, and it messed them up for years with self-esteem and eating disorders. Like, you were tipsy enough that you didn't notice your wife was close enough to overhear you. How could you ever be sure that your daughter won't, or even hasn't by now if you say this sort of thing often, overhear you saying stuff like this at some point? You'd just be teaching her that she's judged on her appearance alone. And it's terrible. So shut your big mouth when it comes to talking about how attractive or unattractive your kid is. Commenter 8, I'm sad I had to scroll this far for this. Imagine if Op's daughter's first memory of a man having an opinion on her body and looks was overhearing her father say this stuff. He's a jerk for saying something hurtful and judgmental about his daughter's looks. He doesn't need to comment on her looks, and he doesn't need to worry about if she's pretty or not to other men because he doesn't need to look at her like that. Update, 1 day later. Okay, I just want to clarify a few things. I have no self-confidence issues or anything. I think my looks are well above average for a guy, but I have really hard features and a resting angry face, so it really wouldn't look very good on a girl. Trust me, I know. My sister looks like me. My daughter has grown to resemble my wife a lot more than me, with my wife's softer features except she has a resting unpleasant face, which hopefully scares off the boys. Just kidding. I know every dad says it, but my daughter is beautiful. Also, this is the first time my wife has actually kicked me out of bed after being together for over a decade. It's unlike her, so this was definitely a one-time thing. Also, what's the issue some people have with my wife serving me food? We have a very healthy relationship. I take care of her, she takes care of me. Isn't that how it's supposed to go? Don't sell me on the whole power dynamic nonsense. That ain't for me. So on to the real update. After reading a few of the comments, I decided to make things right and apologize. She was still asleep, so I took our daughter to pick up some of her favorite waffles in our local diner and got her usual order there. My daughter and I set it all up, and I woke my wife up with breakfast in bed. She still looked like she wanted to stab me, but she lightened up a bit when she saw the food. I sent my daughter out to watch Netflix, and my wife and I had a talk about what happened. I laid it on thick, as one Redditor suggested. I told her how I meant I had very masculine features that I'm glad our daughter grew out of. How I was so happy she's starting to take after the most beautiful woman in the world. This is true. Apparently, my wife thought I was calling her and our daughter ugly. No idea where that came from, but okay. I explained it all and how it went down. She had the pretending to be mad face that can melt anyone's heart as she stuffed her face with food. I kissed her on the forehead and promised to make it up to her today, which was yesterday. I ended up taking them both out for lunch, ordered takeout for dinner, and ate a boatload of ice cream that night while watching movies together with our kid. Cherry on top? I actually got to sleep on a bed cuddling with the love of my life. Best night in a long time. Was I wrong? Was she wrong? Well, to be honest, none of that really matters anymore. It's behind us. Something like this isn't the hill I want to die on, and I'd rather sleep on a bed with my lovely wife than keep my pride intact sleeping on the death couch fighting back pain. Thanks guys. I can't believe an IDA post turned into a relationship advice post.